Michelle. Right now we want to take you live to the EMA in Cranston, where state leaders are conducting a media briefing. Right now, let's listen to Governor Chafee.
All Rhode Islanders stay off the roads. If you have to drive, please drive very, very slowly. We're seeing some cars sliding off, and that makes anybody that has trouble and gets into a ditch, that delays our clearing of the roads for the plows to do their job. So please stay off the roads. If you have to drive, drive very, very slowly. We do have the kind of bizarre instances of lightning during the snowstorm, thunder and lightning. And we have had some power outages. We're working hard to restore the power, and we'll continue through the course of the day to provide the services that you all need. Please stay home. This is a heavy accumulation snow. Now I'll turn it over to Dave Smith, Head of Emergency Management for Rhode Island. Dave.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning, everyone. EMA has been active through the night. We have had a number of state agencies as partners with us in the Emergency Operations Center, and that's important so that we have real-time awareness of what is going on the streets as it relates to the power, the weather, the health in hospitals, and any other important component of our ability that's necessary for our ability to support the local communities, those first-line public safety people that are out there in these elements in a necessity to respond. I'm sure you're anxious to hear from Colonel Doherty about not only the state police action through the night activity and also about the roadways, but the State Emergency Operations Center will remain active and open for as long as necessary to continue to support and coordinate the effort across the state. The National Grid does have someone with us, has been with us throughout the night, will remain with us, and we've seen the power outages go up as high as, I recall, 39,000 customers. They have extra crews out there in the field and done an outstanding job at restoring that power in a very timely manner. And the last number that we had just moments ago was it's been reduced down to 6,000 customers. So we just ask everybody to be patient. If you are without power, let your local authorities know. There is a call-in number by the National Grid. We'll make sure it's on our website. And just please report the outage so that they can react and respond. And those extra crews out there are doing a terrific job. I'd like to turn it over to Colonel Doherty for a report on the police and DOT activities.
Thank you, Director. Governor. Good morning. As always, in a snow emergency, a snow event such as this, the state police has been quite busy overnight. This was absolutely the right decision to make. We have handled 30 accidents overnight throughout law enforcement, not just the state police. Dozens of stranded motorists throughout the night. Some people who were in very difficult situations, broken down, and were not able to communicate where they were. So the state police has cleared up all of those stranded motorists on our highways and byways, but in constant contact with the local law enforcement. There was one accident last night in Cranston, a rollover of a vehicle with injuries, but non-life-threatening. That person was transported to Kent County Memorial Hospital. So we continue to ask people to stay off the roads unless you absolutely have to be on the roads. We appreciate those who are complying with that and doing the best they can in partnership in Rhode Island to allow DOT to do their job, allow the state police to do their job too. Let's work as a team to clear this up. I know that DOT is doing a great job. I've spoken to troopers from throughout the state telling me how hard the DOT workers are, the job they're doing plowing these roads, and they're just continuously trying to keep up with this snowfall is coming at such a rate it's difficult for the plows. So we want to continue to ask people to just wait, give it a few hours throughout the day until DOT does their job, and so everyone can stay safe. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to give you a status on the highways as I know it at this time. Our crews have been out all night working on the highways. Earlier in the evening, the highways were in better shape than they are right now. The weather report yesterday indicated that the storm would intensify at about 3 or 4 a.m. and would continue at a rate of 2 or 3 inches an hour until about 8 a.m. That has proven to be true. Our director said earlier in the day that at those intensities, our crews would not be able to keep up with keeping the roads as clear as possible. And our superintendents are all reporting that the intensity of the storm is greater than they can handle. So at this point, traffic is moving, the roads are covered over, and if you have to be on the road, as the colonel said and as the director said, please drive very carefully. At this point, our primary function is to make sure that the roads are passable for emergency vehicles, and that is what we are doing. So I can tell you that at this time, traffic is moving on the highways, but again, I would urge, if you do not need to drive, please stay home. Thank you. Lieutenant Governor Roberts.
One more point I want to make, that we're continuing to get calls from our hospitals from throughout the state, and the state police will accommodate all of those calls for essential workers in the hospitals. So that number is 444-1000 for those hospital employees who absolutely must get to work and are having trouble. Lieutenant Governor Roberts.
Good morning. I have one more message of public safety this morning, and that is that this is a heavy, wet snow. And luckily, most of us don't have to be out too early. When you do get your snow shovel out and your snow blower, take it easy. Don't try and do the whole job at once. It puts a real strain on your heart. What we don't want to see is more rescue calls because people have overdone it. So break up the job, take it slow, and luckily you have the time today. I've got my 18-year-old staged already to do it in 3 different parts, but take it easy. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Amarillo, can you address why the roads are worse now than they were earlier? And kind of, when we came in, it looked like some of the roads have not been treated.
When the storm began, the intensity of the storm was not what it is right now. We have been treating the highways, but there comes a point where when the intensity gets greater than you have equipment to handle, the snow is going to build up in the highways. The material is working underneath what is on top of the roadway surface. Otherwise, traffic would not be able to move on the highways. So the material that we put down is working. It's continuing to work. And as I said, the traffic is moving on the highways, but it's difficult. And again, right now our primary function is to make sure that the highways are safe for emergency vehicles.
And when do you expect to have them totally cleared off so people can get out and get around?
We're expecting the intensity of the storm to start to slack off at 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. The snow could continue into the afternoon. Our rule of thumb generally is once the storm is done, our primary focus at that point is to push all the snow off to the sides of the road so that you have pavement width from curb to curb on all of our streets. That will generally take about 4 hours after the storm ends.
And can you speak to people about getting their cars out there and how important that is to clean up?
Excuse me?
Can you speak to people about how important it is to get the cars off the roads to clean up effort?
Well, certainly on the interstates and limited access highways, we would have no problem with that. But on secondary roads, if cars are parked on the streets, it's very important to move the cars, because then your car will either be plowed in and we will not be able to do a good job of cleaning the streets. So that is quite important, yes. Cars should not be left on the highways. Thank you.
And how are we doing budget-wise? Because we just had another big blizzard the day after Christmas, so it's kind of one right after another, right?
Up to this storm, we had used just under 50% of our budget. This storm, obviously, we don't know what it has cost us yet. Within a day or so after the storm, we will. But as we stand right now, through the last storm, we had used under 50% of our budget.
And that's through July?
The fiscal year begins on July 1st, but the winter budget really doesn't start until November 15th, and that budget lasts us through April 15th. And so we've had, this is the 9th event for us. Even though there hasn't been that much snow, there's been a lot of rain that's frozen. There's been a lot of light snow events that has forced us to go out and treat the highways. Some of those events lasted for a long time, and those events generally cost a lot of money. So through the previous event, we're still below 50% of our budget, and again, within a couple of days after the storm, we'll know what this cost us.